welcome to Phoenix Refueled, paving the way for the matriarchy, one body at a time. I'm Lindsay Evans.
I'm Ashley Nix.
And we're talking about what today, Ashley?
We are talking about releasing our fathers.
Episode on dad work.
Oh my God.
If you have dad work.
So Austin's my therapist. Austin and I have been working, through so many different things, and he's very much, I never like to say it's like, oh, it's because of, one thing, but he's all like, but in your case, there's a lot around one. Yeah. And I'm all like, no, but we knew that. We knew that, but I was also trying to not be like, it's just, because it's not just my father.
Yeah,
there were a lot of other circumstances and things surrounding, but there is really core wounding there. And so we had gotten to this place of, Austin had me research a psychologist, therapist named Carl Rogers in the 30s and 40s. And he came up with what's called unconditional positive regard. And Carl Rogers said that
term.
Which is great, right? It's just, what do you think it means?
Seeing the best possible version of anyone at any given time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically. It was talking just about how with therapists specifically, it's really important when you're in that relationship with your client to have unconditional positive regard for them, free from judgment, free from, all of negative emotions, those kinds of things, just regarding them positively, seeing the best in people, and that allows people the room and the acceptance to be able, and the connection to be able to grow.
Yeah.
And so Austin told me, he was like, I want you to come up with a different word, and I was all, ugh. Not the work. I was like, I hate when you make me do the work. That's just give me the answer, man. Well, he did not. I came up with on my own the word release.
Oh, okay.
Because the more and more I thought about it, and I thought about things, and zoom out and view my father, in so many ways he was wholly incapable of that role. Mm-hmm. And I equated it to like a job. Like you have someone in a CEO role that is just incapable.
Just not equipped. Yeah.
And will never be. There's no amount of coaching or any of that. Like, it's just not something they can do. Would you keep them in that role?
That's an interesting lens to look at it from. Meaning, are you going to continue to expect him to perform father as you would expect it? Mm-hmm.
As I need, as I would expect, as I would want, as I see other women have, right? Mm-hmm. And the answer is like, no.
Yeah.
No.
You've learned that lesson already.
Yeah. Like I'm beating both of us up, actually. I'm beating him up and I'm beating myself up in that process. Because I'm holding him to this title and these list of expectations that he can't meet. So I'm just angry that he's failing and will continue to fail at this job. That doesn't feel good for either one of us.
No.
Not him, not me. Like, no one is winning.
Yeah, that's a hard place to come to. I've had similar, not through therapy, but just writing and on my own, I've come to similar conclusions about my relationship with my dad. As in, I don't hold myself to the same standard I held myself to when I was 5 or 15 or 20. But then I do have this fixed idea of him. And I'm like, why do I have this fixed idea of him as a father and as a person when I've changed? Everybody else has changed. Why do I keep expecting him to be the same or not be the same or whatever? It's like I have to let the old version of him go.
Do you feel like he's let the old version of you go, though?
No. No,
No.
I don't. I don't. That's what makes it harder, because that's why I think that's an interesting lens that you're looking at it from, because I think it takes a lot of awareness to say, you know, he wasn't ever going to be what I wanted him to be, so I have to let that go. But that is a hard dynamic when the other person that you're playing this character, and then this other person is playing this character, and it's like you decide to opt out of the play and say, I'm not playing this game anymore, and then they're still performing that role and expecting you, and then they get angry, like, well, why are you not being the Ashley that I expect?
Mm-hmm.
You're the Ashley that I created in my head. Why are you doing things differently now?
Right.
You know, there's a certain dynamic that they're used to with us because they've known us our whole lives. It's like, well, no, you don't get to change the rules of the game. Although, of course we do.
We absolutely do.
Of course we do.
And by us changing, it inherently changes the dynamic. This illusion that you're going to be able to change someone else is purely that. It's an illusion of control. It's an illusion of, it's just a manipulation in its own way as well, I would argue. I am not responsible for anyone else's journey in this life. I am responsible for my own, and me doing my inner work, my work will change me, which will inherently change the dynamic.
It will.
And I'm not responsible for how you respond to that. I'm not responsible. I am only and solely responsible for me.
Your end. Yep.
Period.
Yep.
And I've watched it with even recently with my father, and having a moment where I did not respond or react in the way that he's used to, and I watched the panic in its own way, and I felt bad for him, honestly. And so I responded when I felt like I could respond and not respond in the way that old Ashley would have responded.
Good.
And then from my perspective, it felt like the power dynamic for him felt back to right. I think it threw him off of his axis a little bit. From my interpretation, he may say something different.
I'm sure it did.
But I'm just like, I'm not going to be a part of conversations where I am unsure of how I'm going to respond in that moment, because I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to be a part of that narrative and that conversation and that energetic exchange, and so I'm going to remove myself respectfully until I know that I can act from a place of where I'm going and who I want to be.
Yeah. Well, because part of the release, part of the positive regard, that implies that there's some distance there. The only reason you can have the release or the positive regard is because there is some distance of safety between you and this person, which is really hard to do with family members because it's so enmeshed. There's so much emotion tied to it, and there's also a lot of ownership tied to it too. You know, we have a certain idea that's fixed of our parents, and our parents, conversely, I know with our parents' generation especially, there's this idea of ownership. You are my child, and therefore you behave in the way that I expect you to behave. So yeah, I think the only way that you can stay with that idea of positive regard, of release, is to separate yourself from the emotion of it sometimes. I mean, all you can do is create a little space, and like, I can't respond to this right now because I know I'm going to react in ways that I don't want to react in anymore. Yeah, there has to be a little room.
And God love him. I mean, I know that there are traits of him that, I mean, and of both of my parents that I got from them.
Oh yeah.
You know, he and I are both fiery. Like, we will dig our fucking heels in when we think that we're right, in a way that is like, that we are both that way, and I know that, and I see that, and there's a part of it that I respect, because there is a tenacity, a drive, a dedication, of like a follow through that can be, when used appropriately and in the right places, a really beautiful and wonderful thing. A grit even. I've really been cultivating, though, like softening and releasing, and knowing what is mine to grip, dig into, and what is absolutely not mine. I'm not perfect at it, but like I see similar qualities as well. And at the same time, I'm still angry.
Yeah. It's hard to work with that. You and I had talked about this before. When you're doing the inner work and you're sort of trying to pivot in the way that you approach situations with like family members, for example, how do you do that, stay on your path and grow when they are not willing to change their behavior? They're not willing to apologize for past hurts. They're not willing to sometimes even acknowledge that there were any past hurts. They won't even recognize. You know, it's really hard to just say, okay, I'm going to be the better person and move on, when you don't even get an acknowledgement for this person who has been so instructive in your life to say, I hurt you. Yes, I see that. That's a hard line to walk. Is it possible? I think it's possible.
Do you?
I do.
With how much distance, though, Lindsay?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There is a fine line between what's negotiable and what's forgivable and what's just out and out abusive. And at some point you have to say for yourself, like, this is a price of admission I'm not willing to pay for my self-esteem and self-respect and dignity. Like, this is abusive, and therefore the only control I have over you is how much you're in my life. But I feel like if it's on this side of, you know, it's not abusive, but there are problems, there's a line that I think you can walk. But again, it's negotiating, how much time am I going to spend with you? What am I going to share with you and give to you? You know, maybe you're safe to have at arm's length, and we just have a relationship where occasionally we check in, and, you know, maybe a family function here or there. Maybe it can be closer than that. You know, you have to negotiate within yourself how safe it is to get what distance. Because really the only control you have over that is how much you let them in.
Yeah.
Because I just know, you know, my dad's not going to change who he is.
No.
And I don't need him to change who he is. I mean, there's certain things that I'm sure he wishes were different about me. There's things that I wish were different about him. But you can't expect anybody else to change. You just got to meet them where they're at. And what are you able to tolerate or not? You know, that's going back to setting your boundaries, which I really like that when you came up with the word, you said release, because that's a clear boundary. That's what is yours, what is mine. Like you said, that's a great way to start untangling that knot. Girl.
I say all this to say that, like, last week we did in therapy, we did another EMDR session, and we hadn't done one in a while. And it was one of those, you know, my therapist is like, you know, we can do all of these like peripheral things, but like really EMDR, like you're trying to find that, what's that core? Like you're pulling at threads, and then you're trying to get to what is that core belief? Where's the crux, right, of it all? Because once you can get to that and repattern that, it clears up a lot of the external, because you've taken this down. Like the other stuff kind of just clears up on its own.
You're treating the cause, not the symptoms.
Correct.
Okay.
And so we got to this whole, we watered it down to I am wrong, but it was, but the idea is that there is something inherently wrong with me. I was the big feelings sensitive kid, like sensitive ears, sensitive eyes, sensitive emotions, sensitive skin. I was, told I was dramatic, I'm so sensitive, I'm just overreacting, I'm just like, where I feel I came into this world very much like an open portal of just like, I feel everything fully to max 10. I feel it all. And that's from joy to sadness to like sensory stuff. I just feel. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you have parents that are emotionally immature and cannot help ground you, I am sure that he was overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they both were fully overwhelmed. I had no idea what to do with me.
Yeah.
Because I felt everything.
So your underlying messaging was that you were...
I'm wrong.
You were a problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Don't react that way. Toughen up. The world's going to eat you alive. Thicken your skin. All these kinds of things. So, like, in working through that session this last time, I just, like, the day after like, I had gotten to, I think, a good place with the release. And then that brought up so much anger for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's anger and grief and everything all wrapped into one, because you were not able to be. You were just not able to be. I was going to finish that sentence. You were just not able to be.
And I wasn't protected.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my my big thing that I came to is that my anger and rage showed up to protect that sensitive little girl because nobody else had her. So anger became bodyguard.
Became the shield
for that little baby.
Yeah.
And it made me really mad.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. So I'm like, how do you I heard someone say a while back, as a daughter I forgive you, and as a parent I will never understand. And I was like, oh shit.
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah.
That's a really true statement. I think when I say my dad and I think of my dad, I mean my dad, who is actually my stepdad, but he's been in my life since I was a toddler. But then, that saying, I will give my dad that, at least he tried. And then I think of my biological father, that saying is so fitting, because I think, yeah, okay, I can forgive you for being in and out of my life, phone calls and weird, like, you just weren't a part of my life. But yeah, as a mom,
but what's wrong with
well,
you?
I don't get it at all. How could you? And I actually kind of like seeing it from that perspective too, because then I can kind of change it in my head, because I years and years ago I did have a lot of anger towards him, just because it was so weird how he was in and out of my life and not really. And then he sends me some weird email when I graduated high school, like, well, my job here is done. I'm like,
what job?
I literally haven't seen this man since I was a baby. I've gotten a couple phone calls over the years, some weird gifts. Okay.
My job is done. Good job.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know you, man. What are you talking about? Like, I guess give yourself a pat on the back, but okay. So there was a lot of anger just from the things that would happen when he would pop back into my life. And then now seeing it as a mom, yeah, I not only do I not understand it, I don't respect it at all, and I honestly just feel bad for you. I have cultivated enough within myself that I'm like, you know what, I was a pretty damn good kid, and I'm a pretty damn good person, and you missed out on that, and that's okay. But I am so grateful that I get my experience as a mother fully involved with my child, because I would hate to miss a day of that. I mean, I just cherish him, and I'm so thankful that he's in my life. And it's like weird that you didn't feel that way about me. Like, you should have. pretty rad.
Pretty cool. Pretty amazing, actually.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. But you know, he couldn't do that. He wasn't emotionally in a place to do more than what he did. He didn't want to. So if I just accept him for where he was, okay, fine. You know? I think that's the hard part, is holding all of that. Like the anger, the grief, the feeling like, God, it would have been so much easier if I had had these things, or like if things hadn't been this way. I mean, that's all real. You have to be able to hold those emotions and also like, okay, well, I still am who I am, regardless of what happened to me as I was growing up.
Yep.
And I did what I could do at the time. I have to let myself off the hook for feeling certain ways and acting in certain ways, and I have to let him off the hook for feeling certain ways and acting certain ways too, because, you know, I would imagine in your scenario, you have this beautiful, intelligent, full feeling little girl, and then if you have, I don't know your dad personally, but if he's emotionally walled off or closed off, and the feeling side of him is something that he's not able to access, that probably was very threatening for him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, it's weird to me because I didn't do that. I very intentionally had my son. But a lot of people don't have kids for any particular reason. They just happen to have children. They find out they're pregnant. It's like, oh, here we go. And then they're just sort of thrown into it. And people are just like, oh, you figure it out as you go. I mean, you guess they will, but not everybody does. And some people are just not naturally nurturing or intuitively great parents. They're just not.
For a lot of people, and this is something that I've grappled with, you know, we're raising children in the information age, of where even without
good point.
access to, and it's a privilege to have access to mental health professionals, especially phenomenal mental health professionals. Oh my, they're, you know, when you find a good one, right? And it's a privilege to have that. But even without that, there are so many. Come here, little baby. Come here, my love. Come here. Oh, thank you. Come here. Come here. Even without that, there is so much information on Instagram, on TikTok, there's so many books, there's so many people that are talking about it, there's just so much information out there. And so for a lot of parents, I can say, parents of our generation, so they did what they knew to do, what was done to them, you know, those kinds of things. And while yes, that is true, for my parents in particular, I mean, my father was an educator. My father taught kids.
Yeah.
Albeit high school, but still taught kids.
Yeah.
He was my high school principal. He ended up with getting his doctoral, he has a doctorate in education. My stepmom, doctorate in education. My mom, everything except for defending her doctoral dissertation in clinical psychology. She became a therapist, like a child therapist, as I was a child.
Yep.
And so the wounding that comes with, I can take care of other people's children better than I've ever taken care of my own, is a certain, not that my wound is any different, but
That's a deep cut.
The mind is just, it's kind of like sorry for the word, but it's kind of a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Of like, how can you do this for other children, but you can't, it's like they're too close
or
the
opposite, because in order to do that for other people's children, there's still a little space, and doing that with your own requires a showing up and an intimacy that demands a lot from you.
So that's what I mean. It was like I'm too close to them.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And your kids trigger you in ways that other people's children just don't.
It's really easy to project onto your children,
especially
if you have a lot of stuff that you haven't worked out, because they look like you. It's like a little you running around, and they talk like you, and they have similar thoughts and ideas. Like there's an effect. Yeah, it's really easy to start projecting, and then overcorrecting things you don't like in yourself, maybe and aren't aware of. Doing weird games like that with your children. Yeah, it's a challenging relationship. I mean, the parent-child relationship is, I think, it's one of the most triggering for that reason, because it really demands the most from you.
I had someone, this was a couple of years ago, ask me, does parenting get any easier? She had 2 younger kids, and I was like, whoa. I was like,
what did he say? Easier?
I was like, I feel like that is in direct correlation with how much inner work you're doing.
Yeah.
The more you, again, back to the more you work on you, like the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Kennedy is able to say things to me that I was never, ever able to say to my parents. And that's okay, and I want that, because my goal is that in adulthood I want connection with her. I want to be involved in her life. And there have been times that I've had to own, I'm like, oof, that's not yours. And she's like, okay, well, what is it? And I'm like, oh, okay, let me tell you how I grew up. And I'm like, thank you for communicating that with me. And I'm going to work on that, but that's not yours to carry. That's my baggage, so go ahead and hand that back over here.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. That's not yours. You're not taking that.
Yeah.
That one's mine to hold.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And she's like, it's okay, breathe, Mom. I'm like, understood, got it. We're working on it. Yep, absolutely. I'll give her a brand new sparkly baggage, but not the same.
Same but different.
Same but different.
Yeah.
The wound around the dot is like very for girls and for men and for boys,
Yeah. Yeah, I think like collectively the whole country is dealing with like father
wounds.
we're all dealing with what happened with Daddy. Yeah.
Which is what happened with Ben, right? I don't have the answer or the solution other than I'm still working through it. It's like, I think where my rage is sitting currently is that I will never, not only will I never have an apology, a true heartfelt apology, one that's without, I'm still in this dynamic, the child. Even though I'm an adult, I still in this dynamic am the child. And your little weird hierarchy thing that you have, you still outrank me in power, right? Sorry.
That's so much. That's triggering for me.
But if you're acting from that lens of parent-child, but that's only when it's to your benefit. And in the moment that I'm like, where's the apology? Then it's, well, what happened in adulthood? Well, no.
Yeah.
No. We're still in a hierarchy situation here where you're the parent and I'm the child and I'm submissive to you.
Right.
And compliant.
And we don't get just to do that when it's beneficial to you and then have me be responsible for anything when it's not. Yeah, no.
Right.
Relatable.
I think it's the lack of accountability. I can forget and forgive the things that have happened, truly. like I'm at that place. It's taken a lot of work. I'm at that place. The part that I'm struggling with is the stories that are still being told to other people, even.
Okay. Yeah, where it's outside. Yeah.
Are wrong.
Yeah.
Or they're one-sided.
It is one-sided.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to sit with.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very hard one to sit with. But again, that just goes back to control. That's outside of your sphere of control.
Right.
Even if it's frustrating and it's nasty and you're like, that's not what it was. That's...
Or you don't have all of the facts.
Right, yeah.
You have one person's story.
That's not what it was. Like, you know, an elephant is more than its tail. There's other things happening there. But you don't have control about how anybody else spins their story of the past. Yeah, there's no easy answer for that. There's no good answer. No. It's just an ongoing process.
It just is.
It's just an ongoing process. But I commend you for doing it.
Thanks,
and for sitting with the anger, because that's all we can do is transmute it within ourselves. And just like the inner work that we do makes us better parents, it also makes us show up more effectively and with more sanity and more boundaries in relationships that are difficult.
And just more awareness of, I'm like, yep, like I don't deal well with being told I'm too intense, I'm too much, I'm too sensitive.
Yeah, well, because you're not. You're just the right amount of all of those things.
I mean, we talked about this. I'm an intense individual, and I'm learning to be okay with that and to love that about myself.
Yeah.
I'm not everybody's slice of pie.
Well, that's the thing. You're not everybody's slice of pie.
And that's
but
okay.
You are just the right amount of what you are.
That's a true statement.
Like, you are as you as anybody's ever going to be. And you are you in just the right amounts.
Thanks, friend.
And those of us that love you, love your intensity, we love your depth, and we cherish it. And for the people it scares, okay. They don't belong in the inner circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's a spot for everybody. You don't have to be for everybody.
I got there. It's the grief of wanting. It's got a therapy session with you, friend, today. It's the grief of really wanting to be your parent.
I know.
Wanting them to choose you and see you and love all of you. It's that grief. I don't need everybody else. I've cultivated such a beautiful community of people, but not having those core
people
bonds
that created you
to see you as you are.
Yeah, that's sad.
It hurts. And I can have compassion for the fact that no one probably ever saw it. He probably doesn't even fully understand himself. And that's equally as sad.
That is.
You know? So that's what we got. It's a process. It's not a peeling back layers of an onion kind of thing. You know, it's not you get here and you fix it. It's like it'll come in waves.
Yeah. Just
like grief does. Sometimes, you know, I'm such an action-oriented person. Like, I understand it, what do I do with it? I understand it, what do I do with it? How do I fix it? How do I enact change? How do I use it for positive? How do I cultivate something new out of it? How do I rewire it? And I think one of the hardest things for me that I'm having to learn is sometimes there's nothing to do with it. Sometimes you just sit with it and let it be, and very hard for someone who is all like, we have to do something with it. It's like, no, it just, the something is looking at it and sitting
seeing
with it.
it and being with it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I have felt this way too, by the way, just so you're not alone in feeling. There has been so many times that I have felt unseen, not understood, not appreciated for things that I like about myself or that I've grown to like about myself. And I know I do that with my dad too. There are ways in which I don't see him, I don't understand him, we don't connect, and it is so sad when you are a person, like I know both of us are, where you're just really, really wanting connection with people. You're really wanting to like make all points of contact and just be seen and loved and appreciated and understood. And when you have somebody who's that, you know, your parent, that was everything when you were a little kid, and you don't have that and you're not ever going to have that, it is, yeah, it's so painful. But I do think if we can get to a point where there are little points of contact, like we're never going to have the full loving contact the way we want it, but if there are little points where we can touch and just appreciate, okay, like I got this from you, I see this in you, you see this in me, and we have that little connection right there. It's not everything that we want, but we can appreciate those little points of contact too. Because sometimes that's as good as we're gonna get. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to be loved by the people that you need and want love from.
Right, exactly. That's still being rewired, but in Buddhist principles, I think you know, I used to think, oh, forgive. Well, that's like, why? And it's like, forgiveness is not permission.
Nope.
You can forgive someone, and that's part of the releasing. Like, I forgive you because I see you unconditionally in positive regard in your whole humanity, and understand that you are, in fact, a little child in there that had needs and wants that were unmet too. And I'm sad for you, and I have compassion for you, and I have love for you. And you don't get to talk to me that way, and you don't get access to these certain levels of me.
Yeah.
And I love you.
Yeah.
But that this is what you can have. And it's a delicate balance when you're dealing with people that are like in your intimate, your primary caregivers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sometimes you do have to, there has to be certain boundaries where it's farther away than you would like it to be. But that's okay. That's for your safety, sometimes for theirs too. And then sometimes there are still little moments where there's, even with that distance, that you can have meaningful connections and moments and mutual appreciation, mutual respect. It's nice when you can notice those.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any advice, anything to say?
Just be really kind to yourself if you're working on your relationship with your parents. It's, you know, if you have an amazing relationship, then
call them and tell them that you love
call
them.
Tell them. If you don't, you know,
you're not alone.
You're not alone. Work on yourself a little, love yourself the way you wish you were loved, because it's worth doing. Yeah.
Yep. The only change that you can create is within you. Then there's freedom and power in that, and there's also profound grief in that.
Yep.
So be gentle with yourselves. I'll be gentle with myself as I'm navigating through this too. So we'll keep you updated.
Yeah. feel complete, friend?
It feels complete, friend. Thank
Okay.
you.
I love you.
I love you.
Love y'all.
Love you all. You got it? You want me to get it?